Okay, so you all know the title. And when I sent the title, I was waiting for reactions from people. And I was telling my friends and telling, our unschooling community in Montreal the title. And everyone was politically correct. But would show some surprise, but they didn't say so until finally a friend of mine said, "Tell me, are you going to a nudist gathering?" And I was waiting for that because I chose the title, especially the word undressing, for both its meanings. And both its meanings are, well, dressage is to dress in terms of habit, to train somebody over and over again, and to dress also to veil, to clothe yourself. And I find this is really crucial to understanding the whole process of domestication, the whole process of civilization is about alienating yourself, clothing yourself from the world, and closing yourself, shutting yourself from the world, and training yourself in this unnatural way, to find it natural to be unnatural in the world. Okay, I'll make it clear with an example from John Berger. He was an artist, and as he was drawing and drawing, suddenly he realized, well, every time that the artists practice drawing, they practice with a nude figure. So he started thinking, well, what's a nude? And he realized, and then why is a nude and not naked? And he realized that a nude necessarily is for the observer. It serves the purpose that you are nude before somebody's gaze, before somebody's eyes. Naked, you are naked in the world for yourself. You're not an object of somebody's definition, desire, purpose. And that ties in really tightly with domestication, because domestication is about imposing a purpose on somebody else. You gaze at somebody, and that somebody becomes your resource. You know that person, you want to know that person as your resource. So in a way then, gaze, domestication, objectification, all become part of this violence that take away your own purpose from the wilderness and make you a resource for somebody else. A resource for pleasure, a resource for consumption, a resource for work. Another interesting term that ties in with that and with education is appropriate. Appropriate and appropriate. It's interesting that language that we use, the domesticating language, has the same root for what is decent is considered to be what has been made property. How do you train people to become property? And that's where parenting and childhood come in, because, well, civilization wouldn't continue without propagating these ideas, enforcing them onto the flesh, putting a shroud of death death of the will, death of your wild purpose to cover you up from the world. So, and with that comes the question of, well, how do we know the world? And what do we transmit to our children? And in this, well, we always come back to the same question, the same problem. I see we cannot ignore it, is the story of the fall. The story of the fall into toil, into agricultural society. And it comes with knowledge. What we hear what is being conveyed to us, what is named as knowledge. But when we look closer at it, what is conveyed as knowledge, what is being conveyed to us as knowledge, what is in fact based on alienation. So if you separate yourself from the world, you alienate yourself from the world. You cannot know the world. So it will become easier to hurt the world. It will become easier to exploit and kill the world. And with the domestication then, with this so-called knowledge, having separated from the real feeling of what the world is living, you substitute it with what you think you know. And we come to John's idea of the symbolic and language being at the root of this violence. It totally ties in. You come to the point that the only way to really be with the world and to know the world and to transmit something of value to our children is to undo this knowledge that separates us. And some of the but it's like we see it's so structural in our language that it's really difficult. Like if we are going to be dealing with children, ultimately we'll be using this language. We'll be using the words naked, nude, appropriate, appropriate. And the connections will be there. How do we overcome them? How do we overcome this knowledge? Well, another angle to this, to the separation is categories, because that comes also with the whole machine of domestication. Categories of human, non-human, animals, ethnic groups, children, adults. They're all based on classifying all beings as separate. So in classifying beings as separate, it becomes easy to know them and to objectify them and to reduce them to a purpose that has been invented by domestication. So, for example, you have children's books. This is a zebra. A zebra runs in the forest for the lion to eat. This is a lion. A lion exists for such and such. This is a tree.